In August of this year, the Sierra Club sent Bob a questionnaire. He responded in search of the club's endorsement. And indeed, he received it. So join us as we follow up with Mayor-elect Bob Sampayan. Bob, we're going to keep it local. We're going to talk about Vallejo.
Good.
A bunch of questions for you. Number one, with a new federal environment that is hostile towards environmental protection and does not believe in man-made climate change, what's the best way to continue to make progress at the local level?
The key word there was keeping it at the local level, Doug. As mayor, I'm going to emphasize that climate change is real, that the drought is real, that environmental issues are real, and that we need to focus on that, that we need to work to alleviate these issues locally. And I think as an example to our county, I really believe that we will have an impact on our local environment as well as the environment surrounding us, county-wide. In my conversations with other mayors, they truly believe in these issues. So if we can focus on that for Solano County, I think we're in real good shape. And hopefully our counterparts throughout the state will also realize the realities of what we're facing environmentally.
What are your primary environmental goals and how can we help?
I want to frame that in a way that is all-encompassing. First is going to be concerning ourselves with climate change, concerning ourselves with water, the use of reclaimed water, sea level rise. If we have severe sea level rise, one of the things that I see is that we're going to have real issues with our sewage treatment plant. It's at sea level. And if that gets inundated, it's electronically controlled. And if we have raw sewage spills, it would be a catastrophe for the entire bay. So those are my primary issues. We need to look at the use of reclaimed water, bringing it to our entire community for watering of our parks, for instance, schools, golf courses. We need to be able to manage our water effectively so that we provide good, clean, healthy drinking water to our community. And we need to concern ourselves with where this water is coming. Right now, Berryessa is our primary supply.
Right.
I want to make sure that we have top-notch, good quality water that is not polluted. We have a lot of recreation that goes on in Berryessa. I'm concerned about that mussel population that has been infesting local waterways. That's a real concern because that will clog things like Fleming Hill up here and will destroy our infrastructure. So these are the issues that I want to pursue in my office, and I want to make sure that we are environmentally sensitive to all of what's going on around us. You and I had talked about trees, for instance, Doug, and I am concerned that our urban forests are on a decline and they're not being maintained. I'm concerned about how trees are just dying because of bark beetle infestation, because of the drought. We need to concern ourselves with that also. So there are a lot of things that we do need to work on, and that's why I'm relying on the Sierra Club to put these into focus for us, to bring these forward, to say, hey, these are issues we need to work on. Because out of my office, we will work on them.
Talk about coal. Will you oppose coal shipments from any existing or future ports which may be built on the Vallejo waterfront?
I oppose shipments of any material that is hazardous to our environment and to the people of our community. It isn't just coal, Doug. It could be nuclear material. Right. It could be garbage. It could be anything that is not sensitive to the needs of our community, to the health of our community. That's my primary concern, is that if we bring things in, for instance, just as an example, excuse me, if we bring coal in, it has to be stored. So how do they do it? From what I've seen is that they pile it. Okay, so now we've got coal dust on windy days.
Pretty messy, yeah.
We have runoff on wet days. So now we have pollution. Do we want this in our community? No, absolutely not. Same thing with, you and I had talked about trash and the common carrier status of railroads and how I oppose that, because common carrier law is federal and it trumps federal. It trumps all other laws, state, county, and local ordinance. So we have no control. So that says a rail carrier can bring in anything they want. No, I'm absolutely opposed to that for a variety of reasons. But again, I do oppose anything, any type of substance that comes into our community that could be deemed a hazard to our population.
You mentioned urban forests. Let's talk about that. I live here, you live here. As we have failed over the many years in maintaining our local streets, it also goes without saying we have failed in maintaining our urban forest. Myself as a resident and as an environmentalist, even as a commissioner, have experienced firsthand the resistance from our city when pursuing basic accountability and or management of our urban infrastructure. As a few examples, our city does not seek Tree City USA status, nor does it currently celebrate Arbor Day. We have an inactive tree ordinance. We do not have a tree database, nor does the city express any interest in such data. As mayor, will you strongly support this community as we seek better management and recognition of our urban forest?
Absolutely, I will. Forests are a very important part of the ecology. Trees absorb the carbon dioxide in the air. They bring health, cooling, but most of all, they bring beauty to our community. It's my understanding that the trees that are here were all planted trees because, Vallejo did not have a lot of trees.
We were like a desert.
Yeah.
There's the photos going back to the years.
If you look back, you will see that we didn't have very many trees. And it's what we have now that is absolutely just gorgeous. We need to take stock of that. We need to maintain them. We need to keep them healthy. But more importantly, we need to do it in a way that works. Because you're right, Doug, we haven't been keeping stock of it, and we need to keep what we have alive, healthy, and green.
Bob, sea level rise. Parcel A. Parcel A, a vacant field at the moment with an established wetland, basically waterfront property. About 20 acres in size, anywhere from 4 to 8 feet above sea level, depending on where you're standing at the moment. Being proposed as a residential area, some 200 to 300 condos. In light of rising sea levels, can you consider this responsible growth?
That is probably going to have to be revisited. If we put anything at sea level, and with sea level rise the way it is now, in 20, 30, 40 years, is that going to become inundated? We're going to have to rethink the entire concept of building at sea level.
Land use.
Yes. I told you earlier about my concerns of the sewage treatment plant and how we're already considering building some kind of barrier that will protect it against sea level rise. We're going to have to start considering things like that, maybe not necessarily barriers, but how things are constructed specifically because of sea level rise. So yeah, it is a concern.
Vallejo, like many cities, is challenged by homelessness. Negative impacts are environmental as well as social. Between the cleanups and the amount of personnel required from a multitude of agencies involved in these responses to illegal camping, the cost can be excessive to the city as well as all agencies involved. The excessive environmental impacts can be seen around here daily. There are illegal camps throughout this very park as we speak, and in Hans Park, River Park, and more. Do you have any suggestions or plans on how to reduce the many illegal campsites here in Vallejo? One environmental question.
One of the things that I've done in my 5 years on City Council has been a homeless advocate. I've worked with Vallejo Together and other agencies, the faith community, and homeless advocates to find solutions for our homeless. Unfortunately, we have people that refuse that aid, that refuse any type of help. That said, one of the things that we need to do as a community is find ways for housing. I'm looking at, now in my discussions with Supervisor Aaron Hannigan, we are working together to try to find a hotel, motel that we can purchase under Housing First and move folks into that temporarily and hopefully give them direction so that they can transition into their own housing. Now, yes, this is a struggle. I've seen places where the homeless have moved into and have created significant issues because of pollution. We have to be able to take those folks and put them in a place that they can be comfortable, where they're provided services, and we as a community come in and clean up, or as a city come in and clean up whatever it is that has been left. Yeah, it's difficult. It's a real difficult situation, not only for the city, but for the county, for the state, and for the federal government. So my hope is, yeah, Doug, we can work together to provide services for these folks and prevent this kind of environmental issue that we have now.
Lake Chabot, can we ask Discovery Kingdom to mitigate some of the pollution, like watershed management? Can we ask Discovery Kingdom to mitigate some of that?
Absolutely. You know, you and I have worked on this lake. You and I belong to the same committees that address this body of water. And across the way, we have a business that all but utilizes this lake.
Corporation?
Yes. Can we form a public-private partnership to address the issues? That is my hope. I don't ever think that's been asked of them. And you know what? As mayor, yeah, that is something I'm going to be talking about to the owners of the property, because we do need to address that. It breaks my heart to see the pollution that the oldest lake in Vallejo has sustained over the years. They have to have buy-in just as we have buy-in.
Can the City of Vallejo further support the Vallejo Watershed Alliance and really help them rehabilitate some of the creeks in our watershed? This question comes from Guillermo, and I want to thank him for recognizing the Vallejo Watershed Alliance.
Absolutely we can. Again, it's that public-private partnership. It's called working together. It's addressing the issues that have never been addressed. You're raising these issues to me. The Sierra Club is raising these issues to me. I would be remiss in my duty as mayor if I did not address what you folks are considering to be high priority issues. And it would not just be for environmental issues, but it would be for issues surrounding our community as a whole. It's important that we hear from the community, that we hear what are the major concerns, and we address those concerns.
Current status of Solano 360 Fairgrounds Development Project and desired final outcome from the future mayor's perspective.
Right now, Solano 360 is in a ERN process, exclusive right of negotiation, with the developer. They are doing a financial study to make sure that everything pencils out the way they claim it's going to pencil out. You and I have talked about the water features that they want to put in there, right, and how it might affect the lake, how it might affect the flow of the water that enters the lake. Those issues are being addressed. Those are very critical to me because of this body of water. Everything from over there drains into here. And if we pollute this any more than it already is, what are we going to do to the habitat of this lake? So that is an issue that is going to be addressed. I will be sitting on that committee. I will be there to hear what's going on. But more importantly, I'm going to be able to voice my opinion as to what they intend to do.
Two more questions from the public. Philip 66, the oil sheen spill in the bay that caused Vallejoans to seek care at local hospitals. Your comment?
What I have been doing is I've been following that very closely. I've worked with
30 seconds. We're going to run
okay.
out of time.
I've worked with everybody from Congressman Thompson's office down to our fire department to look at solutions because there was not enough transparency and there was not enough cooperation. We need to have better communication with our public, and we need to be transparent as to what happened. I have my theories as to what happened, as does the fire chief, and quite frankly, I believe in what the fire chief is telling me. So we are moving forward in this. We are going to, we are now looking at purchasing or having the oil companies purchase air monitoring systems that will be placed around the city so that we'll have an early warning system should this happen again.
And might we be proactive in demanding answers when they're not being given to us?
Absolutely.
Thank you. And from Kay, last question. Community gardens in south of Vallejo, the possible use or loaning of vacant property, of vacant city properties for urban gardens.
I am a huge proponent of community gardens. We have to be careful with, quote, loaning properties because it can be a gift of public funds, and we have to be careful with that. However, I am very supportive of community gardens, and I want community gardens everywhere in the city because they are a positive thing for the folks that need that kind of service. And on top of that, one of the neat things I like about community gardens, it brings community together. And that's what it's all about to me. It's bringing the community together.
When you returned the Sierra Club questionnaire, you noted that you're not a Sierra Club member. Based on your other responses and your local environmental track record, you received the club's endorsement. Your membership is not required to receive our endorsement. Are you planning on becoming a Sierra Club member?
Well, I want to show you something, Doug.
Excellent. Excellent.
I am a member.
I would
A
expect.
proud member.